Hey guys, it's Paradise, and one of the best and funnest things to do in any tactical FPS is to make your loadout and customize your weapon to not only look cool but actually perform better. Since there's a ton of attachments in this game, and it doesn't do a great job of explaining them, as well as just how to kit out your favorite gun, I'm going to share with you guys our top 3 beginner loadouts of our favorite weapon platforms, the M4, the AK, and the Mosin. These are all made using level 1 vendor parts which everyone will have access to, and of course you can improve on them as you do your tasks and level up the vendors to get access to more parts, but we'll have a more mid or end game loadout build coming in the future. For starting out an early game, however, these are literal stat improvements over the default weapons, and each one has a sight, so they're so much easier to use. Drop a like below if we help you out, and put your custom loadouts in the comments so we can all learn together, because I would really love to see what you guys are making and what is working for you. Let's start it off with one of my favorites, my M4 loadout. For this we'll use the gunny vendor, and this will work with most M4 versions. So if you already have an M4 or if you've got one off of a kill, you can save around $1,000. The actual cost of the attachments is only $252, but the total cost of buying the M4 and the ACOG and the attachments will be 3.44k. 1k of this is the M4 itself, and 2k of this is the ACOG and mount, so the actual attachments are very cheap, but the sight and weapon will set you back a bit. If you want to save money, you can loot an M4 off of someone and reuse ACOGs across your weapons, but trust me, the ACOG is easily worth the 2k price as it makes shooting much easier. $3k might sound like a lot of money at the start, but trust me, this is nothing as you start playing and doing tasks and selling excess loot and weapons as you play. If you need to purchase the M4, you can get the top one from the vendor, which is the M4A1 that costs 1.15k, as this already has a couple parts on it that we will use, such as the nylon stock and M-lock handguard for attachments. Here you can see the list of everything you want to purchase from Gunny, and to make it super easy for you, just look on the video and look at the slots with the little shopping cart symbol on them. These are the ones that you want to purchase to complete this weapon. So once you've bought everything off of the vendor, you're going to have the M-lock hand stock that gives you a nice 10% weapon handling, which is pretty great, the F1 charge handle that gives 2% better reload speed over the default 0%, the DD-MK12 gas block that gives 5% recoil reduction over the default 0%, the A2 flash hider that gives 10% recoil reduction, which is double the 5% of the one the weapon comes with. We also have the ACOG and mount, which is a nice 4x scope and is vital to shooting people at a distance accurately. Do not sleep on using a good scope. Luckily for the M4, you don't actually need the mount, you can just place this on the carry handle. But if you want a cleaner look, you can buy the ACOG mount for $94, but that's up to you. Finally, we have the MOE pistol grip, which gives a nice 4% recoil, 2% weapon handling and stamina drain, which is a great all-round choice in my opinion, better than the made grip that it comes with. To assemble, you need to inspect the M4 and remove the parts as I do. Take off the XM177 flash hider, the gas block, the carry handle if you're using the ACOG mount, otherwise keep it on, the GIM4 charge handle, and the made grip. After all of these are off, simply drag everything on, and with the ACOG, place it on the mount or on the carry handle depending on which version you want to use. Once it's all slotted together, you have your kitted out M4 ready to go out into the field and have an edge over anyone else using the standard one. For ammo, I recommend using the Full Metal Jacket FMJ rounds, and as you progress, you want to start using armor-piercing rounds if you can. And next we have an awesome looking AK loadout that dramatically improves its performance as well as giving us a silencer. For this, we will need the Artisan Vendor, which is unlocked after 10 to 12 tasks are done, so that's a couple hours of playtime. The actual cost of the AK and all of its parts is only 1.08k. However, if you do want to use an ACOG, that will add another 2k as before, so if you have multiple weapons, reusing the ACOG can save you some money. Also, if you're looting the NPC's AKs, you can actually reduce some costs here by using parts off of them. Just as before, you can see all of the parts that you want to purchase here on the screen. Just open up your vendor and grab all of the ones that I have listed here, and you can see them easily on the side with the little shopping cart symbol. We'll start with the AKMN frame, as this lets us use a sight and the suppressor for only $121. Then we'll use the MK4 grip, which has 2% recoil and 4% weapon handling. We will also need a gas tube, as this is needed for the gun to function. Then we'll use the wrist handguard, which allows us to use our grip. We also need the BP20 side mount, which will allow us to attach our sight. Then we grab the MOE AK pistol grip for that 4% recoil and weapon handling. I personally like the MOE stock for the 2% recoil and nice 6% handling. And then we'll take the PBS01 suppressor, which has a really nice 10% recoil control and 2% better dispersion, but does lower our handling by 4%. However, this does make the weapon sound really nice and much quieter. Finally, we'll grab a dust cover to complete the look, and remember, if you want an ACOG, you will need to buy that and the mount from Gunny. But you can also use a hollow sight or the EKP8 red dot sight if you like that. Interestingly, both the red dot and the hollow sight can go straight on the side mount and you won't need any additional things, but the ACOG will need the ACOG mount. Once you have all of these pieces, just drag them together and add a magazine to get shooting this really awesome and strong AK loadout. I really love this on full auto at close to medium range, it's a real beast, but am I the only one that loves a fully black AK, or do you guys prefer AKs with the wooden parts more? Finally, for snipers on a budget, we have the Mosin Nagant. This comes with a scope, but again we need the artisan vendor, which is unlocked around 10 to 12 tasks in. This whole sniper rifle is only 1.02k, which is super cheap and a fun way to play. Just as with the other loadouts, you can see here on the vendor screen all of the parts that you need to buy. Just drag in everything on this list, and again you can see where they are on the vendor by the little shopping icon. For this we need the Mosin Nagant sniper frame as a base. Then we need the Mosin internal magazine, this is required, and I like to use the 730 Mosin barrel as this gives an extra 16% muzzle velocity, but it is quite long. We will need the Kechetov mount, the PU rings, the Raven flash hider for the massive 30% recoil control on it, and the PU 3.5x scope. Finally, we need the Mosin Stock S, and you can slot all of this together to create your super cheap and very fun sniper rifle. Now, this sniper may not be the best in the world, but it is again super cheap and fun, and is quite a classic depending on what games you prefer to play. Because of the cheap cost and good performance of these loadouts, these are great weapons to use to go out and fight with without worrying about dying. Depending on the player you kill, or if you're in some high loot zones, you can then simply upgrade off of the AI's body, and you won't have lost too much because many of these weapons are fairly cheap. So there you go, our top 3 beginners loadouts. Share yours down below and drop a like if we helped you out. Make sure to subscribe for more daily gaming videos, news and guides.